Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched The Amazing Race, Season 31, Episode 1. It's a brand new season of The Amazing Race. It's been a long time since I've watched this. I didn't watch last year's season. I don't think I've watched last year's season. I feel kind of bad about that. I should go back and watch that. But anyway, this season is a reality clash. We have teams from Survivor, Big Brother, and The Amazing Race. We have one person who has been on two of those shows already. Rachel, she's on here with her sister Alyssa instead of her husband. Is it Brendan? Is that his name? I feel like my memories are scarred. My memories of them are scarred very much. I think so. She says his name enough that I should remember for sure if that was it. But anyway, Rachel has been on The Amazing Race before, and of course on Big Brother. I was not aware she had a sister. I had not seen Big Brother season 15. I believe. Why do I know so much now? That she was on season 15. I have not seen that season, or maybe I don't think I have. I have not seen very many seasons of Big Brother because there's so many episodes of every season. The only ones I've actually watched in full, I think, are the couple that I watched as they were airing because it's a lot easier to do. Maybe not easier to do, but it doesn't seem like an arduous of a task when you're watching one episode every couple of days. Instead of like, oh, there's 40 episodes, there's 50 episodes, there's 700 episodes total of all these Big Brother seasons. The one that they had during the winter, that's my favorite one. That's still my favorite one. Because it was during the writer's strike. That's why they rushed it and did it in the winter instead of in the summer, because they had time to fill on TV. And it also had, I was just so into it because he had the Showtime it was Big Brother After Dark over there on Showtime. I don't know if they still have that. Maybe they have that on All Access now or something. I don't know. I haven't really looked into that at all because you used to be able to subscribe to watch the feed all day, every day. I did not do that, but yeah, I was super into it that year. And then when it was over, Big Brother Australia started up right after that, or like during that. So I was watching that at the same time. I was mostly just sad that we had to wait a lot longer for the next season of Lost to come out. But oh yeah, I loved those two seasons. Big Brother Australia and Big Brother, maybe it was season 10 or 8. I don't know. It was even higher. It must have been like 8, 9, or 10. Anyway, what's my point? I don't know. This season we have so many teams. Okay, let's go. Spoilers. I've already done a little bit of spoilers, kind of. Here are the teams. I'm only familiar with a few of them. I'm familiar with the people from Survivor. And I vaguely remember some of the Amazing Race teams. Because there's one from last season, or there's one from a recent season I haven't seen. And then there's one from a long ago season that I don't really remember them that well. But anyway, we have Rupert and Laura from Survivor. I'm kind of rooting for them to lose, get eliminated as soon as possible. They do not seem very good at this at all. But yeah, Janelle and Brittany from Big Brother. I don't know them. Leo and Jamal from Amazing Race. The Afghanimals. I like these guys. They are very, very fun to watch in this so far in this season. I don't remember specifics about them from their previous season. Have they been in more than one other season? I think they've just been in the one. But I like them a lot so far this season. I think I'm rooting for them. I think they're my number one pick. yeah, looking at the rest of the list, I want to see them succeed. My number 2 pick, well, I get to them. Also, I want to see eliminated as soon as possible Rachel and Alyssa, the sisters from Big Brother. It's like, I don't know, it's a whole different experience having them on together rather than Rachel and Brendan. Is it Brendan? Is it Brent? Should I check on that? I think it's Brendan. I think so. Anyway, it's a whole different. There's a whole different. It's a whole different relationship, and I'm not sure if it's better or worse, but it's certainly as much of a like. I can't. Like, I hate this, but I can't stop watching this. And I want to see them fail as soon as possible. We have Corinne and Eliza. They are so mean to about everybody else and to everybody else. And we might see them transform a little bit because by the end of this episode, they're like, oh, like that team, it seemed like they were humbled slightly. Maybe just for the merest of seconds to make the statement that, oh, the team that we were calling stupid, idiots, or whatever, they beat us by a lot. So maybe we're not so good, not so good at this. But yeah, I kind of love them. I kind of love them. And I'd say they're my number 2 pick out of everybody. Then we have Tyler and Corey. I like Corey a lot. Tyler's all right, but Corey, he's a cool dude. I like him. I really like their season, mostly for Corey. Not the whole season, but I like the team mostly for Corey. But Tyler has his moments too. They're fun to watch. I don't subscribe to their YouTube channels. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. Maybe I do. I just don't. It's like buried in the feed. The algorithm, it does not serve you up what's actually the newest thing. You have to like go to a different page for that. It's dumb. Art and JJ, I sort of remember them. They're from The Amazing Race. But I can't remember any specifics from their season. But yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about them later. Colin and Christy from The Amazing Race. I feel like I kind of remember them, but they're from like season 5, which I may not have actually seen yet. So yeah, but they're really good for such a long gap between the 2 seasons. Because that was like 10 years ago, 11 years ago. They're kind of killing it so far, and I don't mind that. Becca and Floyd, they're on one of the random team seasons. I don't know if it was the one where it's all completely random people, or if it was one where it's half random people and half random pairs and half existing relationships. I'm not sure which one of those two, because I haven't watched either of those seasons. Actually, I did watch the first couple episodes of one of those. So they must have been from the other one because I don't remember. Or maybe not. I don't know. My point is, they're from The Amazing Race, and I don't know anything about them. They seem all right, but I can see them getting on my nerves a little bit if they continue being as wacky as they are, which I imagine they would be. Because if they've been on the show before, then they're probably continuing whatever wackiness they ended up with by the end of the season. They did not know each other at the beginning of their first season, so it's kind of interesting. Now they're dating, and maybe this will bring them even closer together or rip them apart as they realize, oh, this game brought us together, and now it's made us realize that should not be. But we'll see what happens. Nicole and Victor from Big Brother. I do not know anything about them at all. And then Chris and Brett from Survivor, the season whose name I refuse to say ever, but I like these guys. They have good chemistry together, and I'm enjoying watching them so far. So they start out in Los Angeles. There's a big octopus sand sculpture that they got to dig around in for their first clue, which is to fly to Japan. They have to find a clue at this security company or a restaurant, except that there's only a limited number of clues at each of those places. So a few of them end up finding one of the places, but they're all out of clues. So then they got to spend a bunch of time trying to find the other. The restaurant seemed like it was easier to find out of the two, and that is the one that ran out of the clues first. The absolutely brilliant move by the Afghanimals is that they pretended they found the security place, but there's a bunch of teams like right around them, and then so they like pretended to argue with each other. They're like, "Oh, it's over there. I think it's over there," and they're like just arguing. And everybody else is like, well, they don't know what they're doing. Let's get out of here. And as soon as the coast is clear, they just turn around and that security office is they're right next to it. And that was fantastic. I think that may have been my favorite gameplay. That was a great move, like out of any season that I've seen. And that's right there. They wanted me over. I'm rooting for them, this whole thing. So up next, they have to, one of them has to find a sweet new pair of shoes. They have this whole room with displays of the same sandal on every little shelf. Same exact sandal out of those like hundreds, maybe not hundreds, maybe like 100 shoes. 12 of them are made out of chocolate and they look exactly like the real shoes. And that's both incredible and gross. Why would you make shoes out of that? Why would you want chocolate that looks exactly like a real shoe? My question is, did they only do this specifically for this challenge, or is this a thing that they found out about and they're like, we got to make that a challenge because there's a place that makes chocolate shoes that look exactly like real shoes. So yeah, that's my big question for this episode. Which came first, the shoe or the chocolate shoe? This challenge. Yeah. Did they create the shoes for the first time for this challenge, or was it already a thing that they did for some reason? That's my question. Yeah. So then they both teammates, once they find it, then they both have to. They didn't have to eat all of it. That would have been kind of nuts. But they did both have to eat a little bit of it. And then they're off to Sheba Khan, which is a what is that? It's like a park. And they have to go there to climb Mount Fiji. Not the actual Mount Fiji, but like a game show. Oh, right. They explained that this is inspired by Japanese game shows. So they must have created the shoe thing for a Japanese game show. And that's where okay. I answered my own question. All right. Okay. I'm sure if I search for chocolate shoes Japanese game show, they'd probably come up with something. So another game show thing, because this is a game show, it makes sense that they're integrating the local cultures game shows. That would be awesome if they do that like every single episode. That's like, okay, these crazy local game shows, we're going to do something from that. That's kind of cool if they do continue that. Or at least, do it more than just this episode. So they climb this Mount Fuji obstacle ramp thing that's all slippery, but there's some like slight handhold type things. The Afghanimals get there first. I forget which of the two did it, but whoever it was, they had to wear this like blue body morph suit and a crazy wig, climb up to the top and grab a clue. But even though he has a lot of trouble with it, he seemed to have the most trouble out of everybody. Like everybody else after him, like figured it out pretty quick, with one exception. But they get the clue and they head over to Atago Jinja Shrine, which is the pit stop. Afghanimals win the first leg of the race. And awesome for them. I'm totally rooting for them. I drew out a grid. I know there's like a wiki page that has all this on a grid on a website anyway, but I like having like my physical copy that I can look and to make like weird notes on it and stuff if I want to. So I have the start of that made, and I'm so excited for the rest of the season. So let's go down a great kind of, even though I'm rooting for them to be eliminated as soon as possible, only behind Rachel and Alyssa, like who I'm rooting for to lose. But Rupert and Laura at one point says, because they're talking about how like Survivor is so different and stuff like that, and she said, "I'd rather be on an island." Like when they're having so much trouble finding that park, and I was thinking, you know that Japan is an island, right? You are on an island. You already are on an island. Laura, you're already on an island. So we got the one team that has a lot of trouble is that oh no. There are two other things I want to talk about. I was kind of worried for Chris and Brett because they got their they were pretty far behind. And then Brett, he climbs up the Mount Fuji thing, and then he doesn't realize that there's clues up there. He like totally misses it. He's like, "Oh, what do I do?" And Chris can't say anything, or otherwise they'll get a penalty and whatnot. So Brett like comes back down, and he's like, "Oh my god, I see the clues now. I had to, such an idiot." And he did so well getting up there the first time, but the second time he has a lot of trouble. It has to be like a fatigue thing, and mostly that, I'm sure. But he does get it, and they end up they don't get eliminated. A team that does, okay, let's go down the list here. Second place, Colin and Christy. Tyler and Corey get third place. Rachel and Alyssa get fourth. Becca and Floyd at fifth place. Nicole and Victor sixth. Chris and Brett seventh. Janelle and Brittany eighth place. Corinne and Eliza ninth place. They were so relieved at that. They're like in tears that they didn't want to be eliminated. Rupert and Laura, took so long to find the park. And if only Art and JJ had hung in there. But Art, he like really hurt his foot or something, and he just couldn't do it. He's struggling so much, and he's like, okay, let's just take the penalty. Hopefully if anyone's behind us, they have even more trouble than we do. But unfortunately, Rupert in that freaking body morph suit, gross, does really well at the climbing Mount Fuji. Once they actually find it, they find it and they see Art and JJ there just sitting on a bench waiting out the 4 hours. Rupert and Laura get 10th place, and Art and JJ are eliminated. So that's kind of a bummer. It's very much a bummer because I would prefer if Rupert and Laura were eliminated. But hey, they were really fun to watch in this episode. I enjoy watching them. It's nice to see further development of their relationship, and that's pretty cool to see from season to season. That's like one of the coolest things about returnees on Amazing Race is that you have that duo, that relationship. You see that develop over the seasons, whereas returnees on Survivor, they're like with entirely new groups of people. Even if they are with people who they were on previous seasons with, it's not the same kind of thing. It's like it's all about the strategy and gameplay, the individual, what's best for the individual. Whereas you have the pairs, they're working together season to season, trying to win that $1 million. So it was nice to see them, even though they're out right away in this first episode. Like I said, just to review, my top picks to win that I want to see go all the way to the end are who did I say? Leo and Jamal, I think, are my number one pick. And my number two pick are Corinne and Eliza. They're way at the back of the pack, but if they just stay like third from last if they're third from last every single leg of the race, then the last leg, that means that they'll be in first place, right? Because there's 3 people in the last leg. So if they're just always third to last, that's the way to do it, because you'll end up in first and never be eliminated. That's my stupid logic for that. Everybody else, it would be, I wouldn't mind seeing a lot of Chris and Brett. I really like their how they get along together. And then my picks to go, gotta get eliminated as soon as possible. Corinne, not Corinne. Oh my god, Rachel and Alyssa. Alyssa and Eliza, I have those written next to each other, and it keeps throwing me off. Rachel and Alyssa, number 1 pick to lose, and my number 2 pick to lose is Rupert and Laura. And I think I won't keep adding that. I won't like rank everybody in every single episode and update that. But if somebody starts to, if it's warranted, if somebody starts to annoy me a lot, they might get downgraded to my number 1 vote off or elimination. And if somebody like really wins me over, I'll upgrade them. I'll jump them over those number 1 and 2 spots for who I want to see win, or at least go really far. So yeah, I think that's a good start for this season. Next episode, I'll be watching while I'm out on the road. In just a few hours. Maybe a little bit more than a few hours, I am hitting the road to go to Monday Night Raw in Des Moines, Iowa. Is that how you pronounce it? Or Des Moines? Yeah. Des Moines. It's Des Moines, right? I don't know. I don't know if I've actually ever even heard that said. I feel like I've heard Des Moines, Iowa pronounced, said out loud. And I think that's how I've heard it said out loud. But I'm not sure. Maybe I'll avoid just saying the name of that city from now on. Monday Night Raw, and then in Lincoln, Nebraska, the next night is SmackDown Live. Then I'll head over to Omaha, where I'm going to visit the best zoo in the world, or so I'm told. I'm taking a nice camera with me to capture all of the magic there. During the day, and then Cirque du Soleil Crystal is there in Omaha, and then NXT Live is there in Omaha the next night. So that is going to be a killer trip to the most boring area of the country, possibly. But luckily, there's some awesome stuff that's going on in an area that I would never go to except like every year for drum corps. Actually, I don't think we've ever been to. I've been to Iowa very infrequently, and maybe driven through Nebraska, like on the way to get to like Minnesota or something. But anyway, I'm gonna have podcast episodes galore from on the road for all those things. Probably mostly recorded in my car, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. Stay tuned for all of that. I have to watch. I'm so far behind on Twilight Zone. I think I talked about the first 2 episodes, like mixed in with another episode of stuff. But I will be talking about those when I watch them while I'm on the road. We've got the Shield last match from not Chicago. I think it's like a suburb of Chicago. It's from Illinois. They're doing that tonight. I'm recording this on Sunday. And so I'll be talking about that as well. You know what? I'll probably actually just talk about that in the Monday Night Raw episode. What else? Yeah, I'm so far behind on Doom Patrol. I need to download those episodes so I can watch them on the road this week. So yeah, stay tuned for all of that. Let me know. And of course, next week's Amazing Race and Survivor. I will be watching those probably during the day on Thursday, because I'm going to be so tired from all the stuff on Wednesday that I'm just going to hang out, do some paintings, watch Survivor, and Amazing Race, and then head on over to the show. So yeah, stay tuned for all that. Let me know what you thought about the Amazing Race this week, this new season, by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. And I'll be back real soon with more TIW Podcast. Thanks for listening. Bye for now. Bye for now.